Hello and welcome to Friday Night Rap Sessions, brought to you by Talk to Me and LB Productions. This is where you get to that real talk and real issues. Tonight on the show we have Abdur Scott and Quin Harper. Welcome, fellas.
What's going on, bro?
Happy to be here.
So how was the trip getting here? Was it rough or was it just a smooth trip?
Yeah, it was a pretty smooth trip, man. Just jump on the beltway, bro.
Okay, that's what's up.
Pretty smooth for me.
That's what's up.
Straight shot.
So Quin, you doing some digital imaging, graphic designing type of work?
Yeah, man. Well, my brother-in-law has this company, Stay Tuned Media, photo. They do a lot of photos. So basically, what I'm doing now is, they send me the photo and I edit it, and they do pretty good work, man. They do weddings and birthday parties, all that kind of stuff. So you have like a few parties that we do, but mostly they made the transition from parties to weddings now. So they're strictly weddings, I think, now. So yeah, I just got on. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking to try to bring my little flavor that I have to what they got going on, and we can make something work, man.
Okay, that's what's up.
You can actually go and check them out on Facebook at Stay Tuned Media Inc. That's STATUNED.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely do that. I definitely check that out.
For sure.
I think I'm gonna need that.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna need that. And Abdur, you have a non-profit organization going on?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Non-profit organization. It's called Inspired Ambition Youth Organization. Basically a mentorship program for at-risk children ages 6 to 16 and
Okay.
beyond. So I say beyond because we want to, have possibly get them eventually to college and beyond. So.
Okay. So how did you go about getting into it? What made you decide to do a non-profit and help kids?
It was a pretty easy transition for the most part. Playing basketball and traveling and meeting a lot of different people. And one thing I learned from meeting different people is if you have the opportunity to give back, then you should. So
okay.
that was for the most part the reason why I decided to get the nonprofit on board.
That's awesome. Awesome. I think we really need that today. I think we really need that in this world. The kids of today, to me, are lost. I think a lot of them are lost. I think a lot of them don't have the guidance that they need. And with the organization that you have, I think that's a great thing for them. And just period, just anything. Anything that can be taught, anything outside the box that they can use to help them to see other things other than what they see now, I think would be great.
That's true. Definitely. That's true.
So what y'all think about our kids of the day? Do you think they can be saved, or do you think do the parents really need saving? Where is the the mix up? Where is the part that's going wrong with our kids today?
I'm thinking now, man. They could use a lot more of these nonprofit organizations that's going on now. Because when you think about it, man, when society and basically they have said, all right, we're giving up on them.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at that, you go from the child, then you go to the parenting. You see what I'm saying? It starts with parenting first and foremost.
Okay.
But and we said this off camera. It was, a lot of these kids that's having babies now are children themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Right, I agree.
14 and 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't even began to be any type of adult to have this type of, responsibility.
So we got kids having kids.
That's basically what it is.
Right. So how can a kid teach another kid when the kid doesn't know anything?
Doesn't know anything.
It's basically your whole life cycles, and you're 14 years old, you really don't get a chance to progress through the cycle.
Right.
Now you can only teach what you know.
Right.
If you haven't made it through the cycle,
you
don't have a complete, a comprehension of what's going on. And I think that's a lot of what you see in the children nowadays. I mean, I think you probably they can be saved, but it starts with the parents.
Right.
first and foremost. They have to be your total support system. And I tell parents, before we even work with your child, you have to be on board.
Okay.
I can't. Other than that, if you don't support me, I become the bad guy.
Right.
And then it still doesn't work.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's not what I'm here for. I have too much. We have too many positive stories to. To let that even,
Right.
So that's not going to happen. So you definitely need the parents to be on board first and foremost before you even you can even start any
that positive influence it helps out a lot. I just remember playing football and my coaches or basketball or running track, or I had those positive people that was around me that helped me to become the person that I am today. I think everyone that I've met in life, whether it was good or bad, have helped me become the person I am today, because I wouldn't be who I am today without everybody that I've met,
Right.
whether it was good or bad. But definitely the positive people have influenced me to want to do more and to be better as a person and as an individual. So I think that's definitely the thing that we need, and hopefully enough positive people can be around these kids, and hopefully to show them the way that this, try something, do something different.
Yeah.
Don't have the, don't go out and have this kid because, it's a fad, or it's you just want to do it, and then you turn around and you can't even raise the kid because either you don't have a job, or your job is not that good to pay for rent or anything, or food or anything like that to take care of the child, and you turn around and either your parents are taking care of the kid, or your grandparents are taking care of the kid, or the ward is taking care of the kid because you just can't take care of it. I think it's a shame, and it hurts me every time that I see a young kid out there with a young kid, and I see him pushing a stroller or walking down the street, and they holding a baby, and the baby just almost as big as they are. We seen that the other day. I mean, we was walking down the street and we seen it the other day. So it hurts, and
that brings you to the next question, like, where's the father and all of this?
Where's the father?
Where's the dads? It's not very many.
Yeah, it's tough, man. The dads, being involved in your kid's life is a great thing. Being able to be there, being able to see them grow, to try to teach them the right way to go. And everybody's gonna make a mistake. Kids, whether their parents are there or not, they're gonna make a mistake. But if you got somebody there that's just telling you something, just letting you know, then you hear it. Like I always say, you learn right from wrong. You know right from wrong when you from a little baby up until where you are. If this was bad or this is good. So to have that, and just to have that father there, that father figure there, is just it helps a lot. But then we also have times where the dad is not there. But you have a strong mom. It's just that strong presence in that family that helps out.
Right, and see, that's what I was about to say. I was gonna say, it's true. Me, I really think a two-parent household is great for your kid, but not saying that a single-parent household wouldn't, because my mom was a single parent. You see what I'm saying? And she raised 3 kids just fine. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's not like it can't be done. But I still think you still would probably, and I could be wrong because it's a lot of other different situations out there,
right.
But in my mind, I feel like a two-parent household would be great. And it's like you say, it's not necessarily like that all the time, because
right.
some things are just some
Right.
So, but what I do feel is, I feel like like you mentioned, like how you said basketball and football, that those people helped you.
Right.
Not want to say it's about the sport, but it's about the you had discipline. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It was discipline in those things.
Right.
Yeah. So if you don't have any discipline in your household, your kid's not gonna show anybody no respect. You know, if they know that they can get away with it, then they're gonna keep doing it, and they're gonna test it, and they're gonna test it. And if it's no consequences for what you do, then what do you expect?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's going to be a terrible outcome.
And 9 times out of 10, the kids that are out here disrespecting other people,
right?
9 times out of 10, they disrespect their
Exactly.
probably mother, or they themselves first off,
Yeah.
and then their mother, or they're probably their mother or their father in some way, fashion, shape, or form.
I feel you.
I mean, and that's just that's just
How it is.
These are just statistics that are across the board. These are consistent across the board.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that's where
And we've seen seen cases where they've gone bad, and we've seen cases where they've turned around. It made an individual stronger. I was watching the interview the other day, maybe yesterday, I think it was. It was 50 Cent, and he was asked a question about his dad. He's never known his dad. He wouldn't even recognize, wouldn't even know who he was. Then he was asked about whether or not his mom, if his mom was still here, and would you think she'd be glad to see your success and where you at? And he said, no. He said, because, he said, I miss my mom. I love my mom to death, but I probably would never have become the person that I am today if she was here. Not saying I might not have been successful, but I might not be 50 Cent. I might not be the entrepreneur and the person that y'all see today that I am today. So he said with his mom passing and the situation that he was put into, made him the person that he is today. So I think in some cases, he was a lucky situation for him to where as though, things went that way. Yeah, something went wrong, but a light came out of the badness, and he was able to turn around. He was smart enough to do things and get things done. And I think that's the whole thing. Like, knowledge is the key, and that's what we keep talking about, that support, that good support. And that good support is about the knowledge that we are given and that they give us. Because if we didn't have it, then pretty much we wouldn't be here today, be able to talk about the things we're talking about today.
Definitely. I mean, for the most part, I grew up with just my mother until I was 11.
Okay.
And then was a stepfather came around, but for the most part, I was already 11, 12 years old. This is about me, but this is how I can understand the rest of these children. I know how I felt at 11, 12 years old.
Right.
I know I was going down the hopeless. You kind of feel hopeless. Like, this is all I see. This is all I know. And that's all I'm around. So for the most part, this is what I should become. But to go back to your other question about whether the kids can be saved. Like, I think for the most part they can be saved. It's a revolving door for the most part, but it can be stopped. So it's not that far fetched for it where we can't stop it. I don't know if you saw the BET the other day. They showed that event with Jay-Z and Jay Electronica.
Okay.
And that was just a good sight, no matter what religion, just to see brothers dressed up, bow tie, sharp, you know what I mean, on their P's and Q's. But that's not really considered popular in today's society. Right. But what if it was? What if wearing your pants was, what if wearing your pants up was, the thing to do? Right. You know what I mean? How different will we be?
That's true.
It can go both ways, and that right there shows you, like, my grandmother and grandparents, and they like to see, for the most part, younger generation dressed like that. It makes them feel proud.
Oh, no question.
And that's the power that African Americans, I feel like we have, and a lot of times we give it up. We don't know we have that power. Right. Like, no, we have that power. We need to go ahead and own up to it.
That's basically what it is. We just
own up to it. We already got it.
I'm like, I really don't understand the
tattoos on your face. You're limited in yourself. I'm not knocking with anything. I mean, my family members, I love these guys to death, and they already know. I do anything for them. But for the most part, if you ask me on a professional level, like, I feel like you're limiting yourself. That's all I was trying to kick. Yeah. But you have to kick it in a way, or portray it in a way where they understand and not feel like you're not condoning or condemning what they do. So if you can have that understanding, then you can be fixed.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Situation.
I agree with you. And I just think it's just, like I said, it's about opening their eyes and opening their eyes up to what's real, what's really real out here.
That's real.
Not to
things that really
the first thing you're saying, you ain't real, or that ain't real. not in the street terminology, but just what's really real in life.
Yeah.
You know,
What's constant?
they say the company's not supposed to be biased, but you go in front of the manager, and you sit in front of the manager, and you got tattoos all on your neck and everything, and you got your eyebrow pierced and everything else. He's gonna look at you a different way, and your application and resume can be great, but when he sees you or she sees you, the first thing they're gonna see is you, and they're gonna have second thoughts about you, unless they can kind of like, you don't have to deal with the public, or they can put you, here and okay, I want your good work and stuff like that, but they gonna look at you a different way,
and that's much harder. I don't think it's it has to be that way. You can put that energy towards building and hopefully putting somebody else on.
But image is a big thing. Image is a big thing. That's just like
it is.
I don't know if I would hire a lawyer if they weren't they wasn't dressed the part.
Yeah.
No matter how good they were.
Just
if you see one, you see a lawyer in jeans and you see one that's professionally groomed, then it's just, to me, you look like you take care. You care about your profession.
Exactly.
And that's just anything. Most of the time, these people don't make humane decisions. They make business decisions.
Right.
True that.
They're under pressure to make business decisions. I just put this on my Facebook the other day. If you any team, you have to follow some type of protocol.
You gotta follow protocol.
And it involves other people.
Yep.
Right.
So you can't say, I feel this type of way and I'm going to do this, when you have shareholders and people backing exactly what you're bringing to the table.
So I think to piggyback off that, I think a lot of people are so hard on their stance of where they at, and it's just gonna be, I'm doing this, I don't care how this person feels, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, instead of realizing that at times you gotta bend to make things work. And it's good to have your own stance. It's good to have it, but realize where you at and realize the things that you have to do to get to where you need to be at.
But see, that's hard for people that's been stuck in their ways for 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And they've been doing it this way. So when a new way comes along, you see what I'm saying? That's more efficient than the old way that you were doing. Now you feel threatened. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
I understand.
Yeah, so you gotta be able to adapt to change, because that's forever constant, man. That's gonna happen.
Right.
And everybody's not against you. You know what I'm saying? We all working towards the same goal if we're a team, but that's how it's supposed to be, right? So, but unfortunately, somehow or another, society done made everybody think that everybody's out to get them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead of like, you have people out here trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? But they feel like if you're helping me, then you must want something from me.
But
and that's not the case all the time.
Do you think that they don't really understand the amount of help that they have out here every day? Whether it's computers, whether it's programs, whether it's I know that it's more programs and information and everything out here than it was when I came up. Versus
it's crazy.
Now, the opportunities that they have now, the ability that they have to do certain things, but I think people still use excuses that there's nobody there for them. There's nobody there to help them, and they won't take it upon themselves to do it. Is it because they're lazy, or is it because they just don't know?
I honestly, and I'm not sticking up for nobody, but sometimes I feel like they just don't know, and that's why Republicans are Republicans and Democrats are Democrats. Because for the most part, Democrats feel if I need some help, then we're all in this together. I'm a small business. You have a significant tax deduction. Why shouldn't I? And you don't really think about it like that, but
that's
so does
that's
the system
real,
work?
though.
Does the system work for us, or
I mean,
or is it against us? Is it made for us to
just
feel
look
like
at it-
it's there.
It's there.
It's there. All the information is there. It's up to you to want to obtain it.
Yeah.
And society doesn't make the norm for to you to just want to obtain it.
But even like
it's not easy. They
don't make it.
Just think about all of the laws they have with the loopholes.
Right.
They specifically give you, make a law, and I have a loophole. It's a term called a loophole that they use like on the Hill.
Right.
So they specifically make a law which they try to slide in their ulterior motive in the back end
and keep us out of.
Yeah, but to go back to the Republican and Democrat, Republicans feel like you should try a little harder, and maybe I can help you.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, I got some family members to where they call you up and ask you for your $2. Where it's like, okay, you know what I mean? I help you out if you're willing to help yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And no matter how far you get wealth wise, if you don't help yourself, 9 times out of 10, like you're not going to get far. And people are more inclined to help you when you're willing to help yourself.
And I agree. And I think you have to have some type of ambition inside yourself to move forward and do certain things you want to do, because people just not going to do everything for you. You might get them once. Right. You might get them twice. You actually might get them that third time. But after that, they gonna finally see the light. Because they seen it at first, and they was there to help you and do this and do that.
Sometimes they want to see how far you gonna take it, and that determines your character. And
right.
That's another thing you try to teach these kids when nobody's around. Like, what do you stand for?
Right.
After this hip hop music is off, what do you stand for? When you're by yourself, what do you stand for? When you're getting bullied, what do you stand for?
Right.
When you're learning and you don't understand.
Like, I think one of the best questions to probably ask a young kid or a young individual, like, who are you? And get them to understand who they are. Because if they don't understand or know who they are, they don't really know how to get to where they're trying to get to.
No.
Because if you don't know who you are, you already lost.
You already lost.
You lost. So, first of all, you got to get an understanding of yourself.
History
of your family, history of your race, history of just period. Or even if you don't know the history, just know a direction of the person that you are and what direction that you maybe want to go into. Yeah. Like when we were kids, we come to elementary school and the teacher say, well, what you want to be when you grow up? Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor.
Be a lawyer.
Next thing you know, somebody say, I want to be a rapper. But back then,
get out of my class.
Somebody might have laughed. But you look at the rappers today, they making more money than a doctor and this that. Yeah. When I grew up, I wanted to play in the NFL. My ambition was to play in the NFL. I wanted to be like Tony Dorsett. He was my favorite player in the NFL. And nobody could tell me nothing.
33.
Number 33. All day long.
That's
all
right.
day long. And that's what I wanted to be. And I played football. I love football. I still love football to this day. I mean, I love every sport, basketball, baseball. I just love sports, period. But that's what I knew, what I wanted to do. Now, as time went on, I had to start growing and try to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. I remember graduating from high school and I can do so many things, but I had no idea of what I was going to do. So, it was a point in time where it was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to do this. I got to do that. All right, I'm going to school. I'm going to work. And those were the things that were really on my mind. Was I'm going to school, and my father even put in my head, he was like, okay, enjoy your graduation. I'm happy for you, but either you going to school or you going to work.
That's only two choices you got,
and he put it to me. You know what I'm saying? And he put it to me. So it was just the reality of you're not a child no more.
Ooh.
You're out of school. You about to come into the real world. So the shock treatment is about to hit you.
Just preparation.
And it's just you get to that point where it's time to learn.
Everybody has to. Every man, boy, comes to a point where you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I going to do? What am I here to do? Whether you decide to go to college, play sports, you have that conversation with yourself.
You have to.
It just comes to that point.
Because you got so many people today that will not look in that mirror.
Yeah.
No matter what age they are, they won't look at themselves.
Well, you brought up a good point. Your father instilled that in your reality, so that was your reality.
Well,
And that became the norm, and that's exactly what the rest of these kids are lacking.
Right.
I don't know how deep y'all want to go, but these kids having babies, if you want to get technical, you can take it back to the late 80s, early 90s when crack cocaine was on, was popping. But if you think about it, a lot of those kids are.
True that.
You think about it, they are, now they're grown, and they're the ones that are having these children. So I think we're missing like almost like 2 generations of the family value. You think about it, we didn't even get too deep, but we had the Huxtables, we had Family Matters, now we got Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives. All your family values is gone. It becomes your reality. Now we're back. Now we go back to the simple principles of any human. Any human person.
It's
it just goes back to certain principles that you're human and this is what you do. People don't realize that.
It's amazing.
If you think about it, like this not stuff that if you wasn't paying attention, this is not something you would notice.
Man, that's true. That's true. I mean, I remember just how television was.
Made it cool.
But now the word bitch is a regular word on TV.
My grandmother, she gets livid when she hears any cussing on TV. Like you're not even supposed to say hell on TV. So for her to hear bitch and just coming from no TV to saying the word bitch on TV, I mean it's a shock. Like you got to think about it. It's a shock.
Y'all might laugh. My father wouldn't let me say son of a gun.
Oh wow!
It
was the principle.
Probably
what it
really represented and what it meant.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that's where it was at. Like I didn't curse around my son. I tried my best not to curse around. Now I know all parents are different. They do things different and whatever it's that. And sometimes it makes my head hurt when I hear an adult cussing out a little kid that's probably about this big and they have no understanding or whatever it's that. I seen it today when I was coming home, but it's just like I just shook my head. But I tried my best not to do it. When we do it, we slip, we do this, and it happens. But I figured it was best for me not to do it in front of him and try my best not to do it, to try to keep him away from him, try to keep him in that child mode as best I could. Because if he go to school, he go cursing, then I can't be mad at him because he cursing because I done did it in front of him and I don't want to taught him. And I just think it's just the what we taught and what we seen as we grow up. We can just take it to the sports players of the day. Why are they getting in trouble so much? Why every time we turn on the TV, there's something going on. Like they haven't seen in history.
You're letting me down, man.
You haven't seen somebody else get in trouble and get it put on them. But you turn around is it because you think you're smarter, or is you just
some people know what he is.
I want to call it dumb, or do I want to call it stupid?
They think they're invincible. You think you got a nice lawyer, and you kind of second guessing. I guess it is getting too comfortable
until it's all gone.
But that's why I like about KD. Like he's always humble. Like
that's humble.
Right. It's funny because they had on TMZ the other day. I don't know if you saw it. They came outside and it's like the crazy Italian, the new. That joint like faster than a Bugatti.
Oh, word.
But it was crazy. He was like, "Yeah, is this your car?" He was like, basically, it was probably like 3-4 million, whatever, something like that. But they asked KD, like, "Yeah, is that your car?" He's like, "Nah, I can't afford that."
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, 2 or 3 million is not much to him when he's making 90 just off endorsement. You know what I mean? But that's but listen, but you can go back to his family values. Look how close knit he is with his family.
That's true.
His father wasn't around, but he's taking on that that father figure, and that's the good things. These are some of the great things that come out of just having like you said, single parent.
I think one thing that he looks at and he remembers is that he understands where he came from and what he didn't have. To where as though he looked at ball players before him have millions of dollars and are now broke.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be smart. Just because you're making all these millions of dollars at this point in time doesn't mean that you won't have them if you mess around and do things. One of my favorite players that ever played the game, Allen Iverson, made millions of dollars, but is now
I made millions.
pretty much broke.
Shout out to Philly.
Steve Francis,
Yeah.
career has gone down. I mean, I can keep on going through it.
It's a number.
You know, it's a lot of players that, you know, have gotten up there, regardless of whatever circumstances, situation it might have been, have put themselves in situations to where as though they not making no more much money than what I'm probably making right now.
But they get this money, man, and then you want to put everybody on. You know, you want to carry the city on your back. You know, you got these guys that feel like, yeah, I owe this to everybody.
Right.
And you know, they going places. You know, you spending money. You in a different city every other week. You know what I'm saying? So y'all partying it up. You living, dude. You ain't never had this much money in your life. So, you know, and then you gotta think about you're young. You know, fresh out of college. You know, they hit you with this kind of money, man. You know, that's why, you know, when you think about it, you know, you think of it like, well, should these guys, you know what I'm saying, get paid a little something while in college, you know what I'm saying? Prepare yourself for when you do make that transition.
Right.
Or should you just keep, I mean, you know, quiet as kept, you know, they get their money how to get it, but at the same time, you know, you need to be prepared. You know, somebody need to be in your ear telling you, all right, well, look, you're going to get this, and it's going to be this, this, and this, you know. I can't tell you what to do with your money, but I can tell you what would be smart to do, you know. So it's like
they definitely need to teach those lessons.
Yeah, like, you know, if you coming up, that should be a required course for a star player or anybody that's in, you know, any kind of profession that's, you know, gonna get you 30 million as soon as you come out of college, or you know, 50, 60 million, you know.
Definitely.
Come on, man, you need to. This should be required.
So it comes back to what we talked about earlier, as far as pretty much like support system.
Because
I look at Allen Iverson, I look at Kobe Bryant, I look at LeBron James now today. Whereas though mom, dad wasn't there, but his success and where he's taking himself and it's constantly growing. You know, I've seen players come in, so it kind of, I heard you say the young part, and it kind of gets to me now because I kind of kicked that out. It kind of gets to me now about a lot of people always say, oh, well, you know, well, he's young. I'm kind of getting tired of it because, like I said again before, I said, we know right from wrong.
Yeah,
that's true.
From a baby.
On all of these people
now,
that have just gone.
We know right from wrong.
That
we read, we learn, we listen, we hear. You know, one of my favorite players and who I knew and watched growing up and who I thought was going to dominate Jordan when he came to the league was Len Bias. Crushed me when he died. Yeah. I mean, loved Len Bias to death. Knew him, his brother, his mother, all of them. I mean, but phenomenal athlete. Matter of fact, LeBron will remind you of him.
Yeah.
Built the same, athletically gifted, body size, powerful. Cocaine took him out. Yeah. You know, and you know, it was a sad situation, but it was a situation where as though ball players can probably look at it like, okay, this is not the route I want to go. You see a ball player go broke for a certain situation, you might say, okay, this is not the route I want to go. Magic Johnson showed Jordan the way. Jordan showed Kobe and Shaq and them the way. They showed LeBron and them the way. You know, which Allen Iverson was in that mix, but he was, you know, on his own thing and doing what he was doing. And certain players, you know, they do necessary things, but it's just, I think it just all comes down to support system. When it all comes down to it, it's just a support system that you have. Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's about it. It comes to the mom and dad thing, and sometimes it does. But even after the mom and dad thing, you can have that support system that's on the outside looking in and can push you to another point to where you need to be. But it's up to us as individuals to listen and take heed of what somebody's telling us.
You know, but you do have those guys now that will just be like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you say to me. You know, it's my money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so you know you kind of get, yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then it's like you can't tell me, and I feel it happens. But like you say, do your part and present it to them. But you know, like
if you don't understand,
yeah, if you choose to do it, then you're gonna end up going down the same path that these other cats do with, you know.
Right.
But it's like I'm trying to talk to you, but like it's hard to get through that brick wall sometimes, and y'all know that. Y'all done dealt with people. Right. You might even been that way yourself, but it happens, man. You like, well, can't nobody tell me nothing until you learn and you bump your head, because usually that's what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen.
You know, it happens like that. It happens like that. You know, at times, and you know, I think you know, you gotta be willing to listen and willing to understand. I listen to everybody. I think everyone has something to tell me. Somebody has something to show me. I don't care how big, small, old, or young it might be. It could be a little kid. They might show me something. It just might inspire me. It might just, you know, open my eyes that day. Or it just might make me smile.
Yeah.
You know, but I just think somebody has something to tell me. Definitely an older person that's been through struggles, that's been through the times of back when racism was really strong. Yeah. Not saying it's still not out there today, but it's not as in front of our faces as they seen. You know, the white only water fountains, the black only water fountains, and having to go around the back of the buildings to get their food and stuff like that. You know, being able to sit down and talk to my parents, you know, about different things, and to get an understanding of how things really were, or just read. You know, as a young kid, I wasn't really fond of reading. I could read, but I wasn't really fond of it. I really didn't start reading a lot until I really got out of high school, and a lot more knowledge came to me. So, you know, I suggest more people to read. Read and get your mind open, because, you know, I learned a lot. You know, from reading. It becomes a habit. And then open your eyes up to a lot of things. And go different places. Go see different things, and that will do wonders for you.
Yeah, that's key, man. Go. It's much more out there than your block or your head, or, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just these bricks.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
So you know, it's beautiful scenery out here, man, and I'm trying to see it myself.
So you know, how was it? You know, down in Sip Town. I mean, if y'all don't know, I'm talking about Mississippi. Oh, yeah. My man Quin, he came from Mississippi. I say Sip Town because you know that's the Mississippi slang.
Well, you know, it's a lot slower there, of course, you know, than it is here. But you know, and the aspect of working, it's the same, man. But you know, you got people that's getting up. You know, they drive. You know. 12 miles to go to work, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't have a subway system. Like, everything is like spread out, man. Like, you gotta have a car down here.
Right.
If you don't have a car, man, you kind of like stuck. But yeah, man, it's so, man. Y'all gotta go down there, and you know, if New Orleans, anyone been to New Orleans? Y'all been to New Orleans?
Nah, that's one of my trips. I gotta go.
All right, man. Make it a point to go to New Orleans.
I will do that.
You know,
I will do
then
that.
You'll get a better understanding, because we just like, we in New Orleans, but it's a more toned down version, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's a real chill environment, man. Like, man, look, I'm gonna stay up here, and I'm gonna retire, and I'm going back, man, because man, it's so much you can do.
Right.
It's so much you can do, man. But
so was it like a shock when you came up here?
Nah, man,
to coming up here and being down there?
It wasn't a shock, man, because I had already made my mind up, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I had been up here before, you know, I visited, you know, a couple times. So it was, you know, I'm like, all right, well, I could figure my way around. That's not gonna be a thing. Like, my biggest thing was, of course, where I'm gonna stay, you know, find a place to stay first and foremost, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna move, man, but I gotta figure out where I'm gonna lay my head. But once I got up, you know, where I needed to go, where things were, I was like, cool, I can get around, make sure I find me a job first thing I hit the scene, because I came up here, man, with just like nothing but the clothes on my back and some bags, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, I gotta make that move, you know, ain't nothing happening for me down south.
Right.
It's hard to find a good job down there, man. The South is struggling, especially Mississippi. You know, we're number one in all the wrong categories. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, what we gotta do, man, we just gotta, you know, anybody, I say to anybody, man, that's from Sip Town, man, I'm like, look, go see somewhere else, you know, just broaden your mind up. I mean, some people, man, home is home and people love home, man, but, you know, it's other things out there that might spark your interest, man, you know.
Right.
So, you know, if you have an opportunity to do that, then do it, because you can always go back. You see what I'm saying? That's to anybody that's, you know, inspiring to do anything.
Do that. That's what's up, man. Shoot. Glad you came on up.
Me too.
On the real.
Me too.
You know, that's just like you. You know, you came from Philly.
Yeah, man.
It ain't too much I like about Philly. You know, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I don't like the Eagles. I'm a Caps fan, so I don't like the Flyers.
That's all right. Go Flyers.
I'm a Nats fan. I don't like Philly.
Philly. Go Sixers.
But you my homie all day long, sir. But I've been to Philly, man. I enjoyed it when I was there.
Definitely, man. The city of brotherly love, man. You get a chance, man. Anybody, get yourself a cheese stick, man. They got cool people, man. It's just a nice environment, man, for the most part. But I guess, you know, just similar to Quin, man, is, to be honest, like, maybe, now that you think about it, like, maybe growing up in a single household sparked that ambition just to, you know, up and explore other things.
True.
You know, for the most part, I mean, I think I got a lot of my drive and ambition just from having to grow up too fast.
Right.
You know, I'm definitely not the only one, and that's how I feel like I know that, you know, you connect to these children. Same, you know, the ones that we pretty much teach on a day-to-day basis. And it's hard to, you want to get through, but you don't want to scare them away. But you still need them to understand what you're saying. So it's just like a fine line, you know, as far as teaching, man. But like, that's probably why, like, a lot of my ambition and fire, I think it came from, like, having to grow up and doing better and watching my mom struggle, and, you know, and watching other people struggle in the city. And for the most part, around my area, it was family oriented. Like, I go back now, same people have been living there for the last 30 years, you know, we've seen 3-4 generations. Right. So, and I think, like, that was the support system that I needed to want to venture out. You know, like, that gave me the edge, or the edge that I thought I needed to want to step out. Because you're basically stepping out on faith. You just going with the clothes you got on your back, hoping that the situation gets better. Okay. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, that's basically, you know, so there are some good things that come from that, but, you know, it's just a balance that you got to have. So, okay. That's what I try to teach the children, and, well, the children, the kids. So.
Yeah, it's that drive. You gotta have that drive, man. Yeah. Just like we were saying, you gotta feel like it's this destination that I want to reach, and I'm gonna get there. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And I think that's the good thing about sports, man. Like, it helps you have that drive. Oh man, you work for something. You know, you realize that what you do affects other people, and the same thing in sports. Whatever I do, if I miss my block. Per se, football, my quarterback's gonna get sacked. Yeah. You know, if I don't set a good pick, my man gonna get double teamed. Exactly. You know, so you realize that there's things out here bigger than yourself, and that gives you another perspective on learning new things, which in turn helps you become successful.
Yeah, I understand that. That's like, you know, when you were a football high school standout, and you know, I seen video, you know. Even
the footage.
Even made me get on you from time to time. And
see, Facebook just came out, like, when we was like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it wasn't I got a camera, let me just take this picture. So when a lot of these young dudes come at me, we ain't got no footage of you, this and that, like, for real, like, they wouldn't even let you in the gym with the camera. Number one, you know what I mean? So that's the type of environments that we play, man. I played against some of the greats, man. I had to get a chance to play, and that's one thing about Philadelphia and even DC, who I came down here like 7 years ago, man. and they showed me love like straight off the back. Like,
that's what's up.
Tacoma Park to, you know what I mean? They brought Steve Francis around, like, because we was dogging all of the dudes in Tacoma Park. So Steve, like, hold up, like, who these dudes? Like, he came on, you know, he did a little picnic. Shout out to my man Tay. He do a little picnic every year. So and my man Kev too. So they do a little picnic or whatever. He came around there, so he was like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, get them together, this and that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we was out there hooping for the picnic, you know, like my first week down here. And then Larry Madness said, all right, that's how I met Larry. Ended up like hooping in the farms. So like one thing, you know, leads to another.
So how's it playing in the farm? I mean, I know you play against, you know, you play against KD. And
KD, man, you got Beasley, you got DeMar, you got Drew's All-Star, shout out to Drew, Super Boo, Rip Silent Assassin, you know, these guys, man, you play in all these tournaments and you spend all this time with these dudes, and you know, you're in, before you know it, they become like family. You know, so it's scary, man. Had a good, definitely. If you have to be a special player to play down the farms. Everybody in the NBA cannot just come down and get this. You're not just gonna come down and just play on the farms thinking it's cool. That's not gonna happen. You definitely have, you know, you bring your game, not your name.
Oh, I believe that. I believe
bring your game.
I believe
what
that.
you did last week. Definitely.
That's right.
But as a competitor, that's what you want.
Exactly.
You know, I thrive. I might feel more comfortable playing in front of 20,000 people than I am talking in front of, let's say, 30 people in a hall. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
what I do.
If you think he's joking,
you progress to that eventually.
Check him out on YouTube.
He got
plenty of videos. Check him. You think he's joking? He got skills.
Shout out to these guys, man. Bobby Mays, man. Local DMV legends, man. They do a lot for the community, which goes unnoticed.
Right.
So that's another positive thing. Pat the Rock, they're always doing clinics, and these are free. Lonnie, you already know Lonnie, L-Train. So they doing all of these, having all these programs and clinics, and they're not really, you know, they're not charging anybody, but it's for the, you know, for the betterment of the community, and they're not really getting recognized for these things. So I think that should big up to those guys.
Definitely, man. That's awesome. You know, farms is no joke.
Yes,
the farms is no joke.
I can believe it. I can only imagine.
You got to fight to get a seat.
Fight to get a seat.
And fight to park your car, because there's no spots.
Fight to park your car.
You better ride a bike or the subway to
You're
get
going to be fighting for a basket.
It's awesome, man.
But,
awesome.
That is a good experience, though.
But definitely, man. I think that inspires the, you know, which I do out there. You know, inspires the kids. You know, to want to play ball, to actually want to do something, to actually want to become something. And then when the stars from the NBA do come down there and play, they get a chance to see them, touch them, be up close to them, and it gives them more inspiration to want to play ball or to want to be something. And I think that what all of you are doing is a great job. You know, I keep trying to get Quin on the football field, but
you get him out there.
Yeah, he telling me it's over.
Yeah, I think it's a wrap, man.
I'm gonna send his film out to the Redskins, definitely the Dallas Cowboys, and the rest of them NFL teams out there. You know, try to get my man in there.
I would love to do that, man, but I think if I would have stuck with it, you know, and that's another thing right there, you know, I didn't. That wasn't what I was, you know, driving for, man. I love to compete. You know what I'm saying? I love to do that, man. That was my thing. Any kind of thing we can compete, man, we can go. You know what I'm saying? So that football thing, man, I ended up being pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's how I got my kicks, man, just on that joint. You know, and then it was the camaraderie with the team. You know what I'm saying? So, cause I went, you know. We played together since we were like freshmen in high school, all of us, really, you know. So we came up together. So these guys, I knew when we stepped on the field, we about to go to war. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even no second guessing. So when you like that, you comfortable out there. You know, you can be yourself. You know what I'm saying? You playing with these dudes. And you know, man, we clicked like that, man, and you know, we did some major things, man. And then I took it on to college for a few, and I got out there, and like you said, you had to bump your head. You know what I'm saying? So knocked me back down to reality real quick. And so I had to refocus.
Yeah.
And it took some time because it ain't never no bounce back type deal. It's a process, man. So when I finally figured out what I was gonna do, man, and went on that path. I'm still on it, man. But I got a plan. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole thing, man. You gotta have a plan, man.
That's it.
I would have loved to made it to the NFL though. Don't get me wrong, man. Yo,
man.
We all got
I'm telling you,
our goals that we want to set and the goals that we want to reach, and then do the things we need to do, and that's what gets us to the point that we are today. To be able to keep on pushing for what we're trying to get to, or helping a young kid to try to reach what he needs to get to, raising a family, pushing them to the direction that they need to be.
It's a lot of work, man, to be there and with your family every day like that. People, very seldom, and I'm not going to preach to nobody, but like very seldom do fathers really get noticed. Even if you go to church, you go to church every Sunday.
Right. How
many father structured sermons are directed for the father besides Father's Day?
Right.
And I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds. I don't want you to blow a blood vessel. But but listen, the pastor's only directing their message to who he has in the church.
True.
Which goes back to mothers and children.
Yeah.
That's why it's not a lot of father driven sermons. This is like a cycle. It's like a cycle.
It is, man.
If we can just stop the cycle, they just passed a law the other day. Like they try to pass a law like saying like people with like misdemeanor 3s or something like that can't vote now. And it's like it was crazy. Like you already took away their rights, from voting with the felony. Regardless of what happened, I'm not condoning any wrongdoing. But at the end of the day, if we understand that, and we have the power over the situation.
Exactly.
Right.
You understand that if you get a felony, you can't vote, and if you can't vote, you can't change.
Right.
There's no change. You got to break the cycle. Stop. You got to do whatever you need to do to keep from getting these felonies, to put yourself in a position to make change.
And that's so true. That's so true. And that's the thing. Like I say, it all comes back to the whole fact of knowing and not knowing, support system, eyes opening, reading, listening, doing the right thing, or trying to do the right thing, and putting yourself in a position where you can excel, to where you can survive, you can achieve your goals that you want to achieve. Because if you do the wrong things and go in the wrong direction, then you can't achieve those goals. You won't get to where you need to be
That's
at.
True.
Because you're not putting yourself in that situation. And it's just really tough. And like I say, a lot of people don't look at themselves in the mirror and look at themselves and realize that a lot of their problems are problems that they created for themselves. And if you realize that you created most of those problems, half the times you can fix them.
Nobody wants to have that conversation with themselves.
Nah,
well, nobody does. Nobody want to have that conversation with themselves, and they don't want to have that conversation
with
with
anybody else. If you are bright enough
else
to do so,
you must have that.
That's where the enlightenment comes. You're bright enough to do so and understand.
Right.
And that's when the knowledge just comes flooding in.
Right.
You understand. It makes sense.
But the percentage though of the ones that don't want to have that conversation is so high compared to the ones that do.
Definitely.
And then you gotta think like, well, you think it's you were saying that they need to be taught. Well, you got your schools that's really not giving that much of an effort towards helping these kids. And in the school's defense, man, you got to think about it, man. The kids hadn't been making it that easy either. You know what I'm saying?
So it's rough on the teachers.
Yeah, and for the most part, some of the stuff that they deal with, they don't get paid enough for, you know, that type of activity. But, you know, that's a whole nother thing. But when it comes to the point where the school system decides to give up on your kids, now you're pointing your finger at them saying, well, you wasn't doing your part. But at the same time, like we were saying, I can't teach a child if your child doesn't have any manners coming from home. You see what I'm saying? So if I put him in the lost cause category, you can't be upset with me.
Right.
You know, because now you want me to raise your kid instead of teach him. You see, and I only get paid for doing one thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I think the teachers are raising them and teaching them at the same time versus the parents, because all the parents mostly do is they drop their kids off to school. They gone for 8 hours, and then they come back and pick the kids up, and half of them don't even want to deal with the kids after they get home. Once they get home, and the kids go back to sleep, so the teachers are raising the kids and teaching them and doing everything. But then when something goes wrong, then the parent that doesn't have sense decides they want to come there and fight the teacher, like, which doesn't make sense. You know, because you don't have yourself together.
And that's one thing I teach my son on, and I always stress, and that's probably why I'm so hard on him. Like, I don't want to put nobody else in a position where they got to put their hands on you because you disrespected them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going to put yourself, and I'm not going to put myself in that situation because I'm not going to allow nobody to put their hands on you.
Right.
At the same time, you should know right from wrong, and you shouldn't be disrespecting no grown-ups.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So, and that, once you have that foundation, it's easier growing up. It gets your role changes from parent to mediator, and then when you get to a young teen, 13, 14, you know, it's less of a strict, you know, it's less of an iron fist, and maybe you can rationalize, but you need those foundations to rationalize. You can't skip from you acting like a little baby to wanting to rationalize. They don't get rationalization at that age. It's nothing instilled in them for them to need to rationalize. Why should I need to rationalize? What is that? You know what I mean? So you need that foundation. Once you have that foundation, you can build entirely on that. I probably only, you know, had to beat my son, like maybe beat him with a belt, maybe 3 times, like, you know, other than that.
Yeah, once you get an understanding on what the consequences are.
And that's it. And then it was maybe I'll give you a count, I'll count to 3. But you know, once it comes down to 3, like, you're helpless.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I used to tell him, like, it hurts me more than it's gonna hurt you. Because I realized, you know, not all kids need to be beat, and that's that's the psychology you need to understand. All kids don't need to be beat. Some of them need to be talked to. Same thing in coaching. You got to know your personnel. Some people you can teach, some people you can yell at. You just got to know your personnel. So, you know, some of the kids that I teach, I can't sit there and you know, and have a sit down and we go over a contract. You know, I gotta have you understand, like, listen, you're dealing with real problems out here in this world. I don't want you to get involved. You see the things that your brothers, sisters, your classmates and co-workers, you know, and my co-workers, they deal with. You see this. So why not learn from the situation? And it goes back to the athletes. You know, we see these situations over and over, but it seems like nobody learns.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They just do.
And I'm an athlete. I'm not knocking. I'm always. Let me be clear. I'm always going to be on the athlete side. But at the end of the day, you know, how many athletes want to look at themselves in the mirror?
And we all were. We all were. You know, whatever sport that we played in. You know, we know how it is to be an athlete. We know the things that you got. The things you were able to do. Because you were an athlete, the things you got away with because you were an athlete, the things you know, the perks that you got, and that point. Well, no, I'm saying, I understand. At that point,
they about to spend all my years of eligibility.
I feel you.
They about to take all my years. 15 years later, my eligibility.
It just ruins you. You know, it ruins you. It ruins you. And you know, so you look at those things, and you know, you have an understanding. You have more of an understanding of what the athlete goes through. But at the same time, you look at it that I know right from wrong. Okay, I know what I got. I know this and I know that. But okay, I know I ain't supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
I know I ain't supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna lose all these millions if I do this.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's always a player or always a person think they smarter than the system.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
And okay, granted, you got caught once. Bumped my head. Okay, you know they looking for you. You know they looking for you.
Man.
Stop or retire, and then do what you gotta do. If you want to retire, like Ricky Williams did, say, you know what?
Ricky said,
I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna go smoke me some weed, and I'm gonna enjoy my life and do what I'm gonna do. Then he came back. He stopped smoking weed, came back, wanted to play ball because what happened? His money went short. Didn't have the money. Decided to come back and play and make some money, and then he retired again. But he had enough sense to say, I ain't playing ball. I'ma smoke.
Yeah.
And I'm going on and do what I'm do. And then he came back. Because he knew he couldn't do it, and it wasn't by the bylaws or whatever the laws in the NFL or the rules in the NFL or whatever it's not. But you get a lot of people that think they smarter than the NFL, and then you get people that just think it's above the law.
That's true.
They're the biggest drug dealer. They got stuff shipped to their houses and stuff like this. It's like, what are you doing?
A lot of times,
You know, what are you doing?
But all you see though, man, you gotta think about it. A lot of times you see these people, you know, get caught up with the law, that, you know, these celebrities and this and that. They get off real easy compared to, say, if you or I did that crime that they did. You see what I'm saying?
And they do.
And, you know, it is all about having that money, man.
Right.
When it's all said and done. So these cats is like, well, I got the money, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know I ain't gonna get, you know, hit that hard. But like you say in a guy like, what's my man name? Cleveland wide receiver, Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon.
In his situation, man, like, you were explosive last year, man. Like you were one of the top guys,
receivers, yeah.
You know, out there. And you were, what was that, his rookie year or was his sophomore year?
It might be sophomore.
Either way, he's still under that same rookie contract. You see what I'm saying?
He's still under that contract.
Dude, you balled so hard last season, dude. Do you not know once you clear this contract, the money's coming, but you can't stay on the straight until that point, man. Like you how many games was he suspended before he this past season? 4 games. He couldn't even play 4 games in the beginning of the season last season, and he came and killed the season.
And he's about to appeal it.
And and so now you looking at suspension or
for the rest of the
season in this coming up season. So it's like, dude, do you see your opportunity getting flushed? Like, this shit is going down the drain. Like, you gotta really think about what you're doing, man. The talent is so crazy. Like, this money you seeing right now, that ain't nothing compared to what you could possibly get.
Like I said, just come back to the point of just using your brain. You know, we've had different instances where, though, the Chris Webber situation when he was in D.C. Knew he ain't had no license, but you decided to hop in the truck and drive to practice and figure who you are because who you were, driving a truck that you knew had secret apartments in it, and you still drove the truck anyway when you had enough money to where as though you could have paid for somebody to drive you. And nothing against you, Chris, because you done turned everything around and you did what you had to do, whatever this, and I'm glad that you did. But it was just a situation of somebody not, you know, thinking about what they should do. And I think some players do get, you know, they get railroaded because of the names that they have and the players that they are. It can be another individual that's with them. And case in point, Michael Irvin, he was in, you know, in a situation where as though he was in a hotel room. They called the police because of I don't know what type of smoke it was, marijuana smoke or whatever this and that, but he came and answered the door. I think he had his shirt off. Everybody else was sitting by the table where all the other drugs were at, and they arrested Mike for everything in there and didn't charge nobody else with it. You know, that wasn't right. But they used the big name to take him down. You know, and it's just, I think it's just, you know, it's sad, you know, because you, at times, as individuals, you put yourselves in those situations to where as though it's hard to get out of them. And some people get out of them, and if you get out of them, You should learn from that experience of that situation and not do it again. But we get so many of them that don't learn, and they just keep on doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until society gets tired of them. And once society gets tired of it, once the public and the people get tired of you, you're done.
Yeah, that's it.
How much of the
You're done.
Of that product of your environment do y'all buy into?
I don't buy into a lot of it. I think in the beginning, I think it probably can be a part of you because that's how you grew up. But I think if you got out of the environment, you went to a college far away, and you experienced the college life that's there, and you experienced new things, so you learn new things. So you're starting to get away from it. But if you don't allow yourself to get away from it, then you never got away from your environment. But I think if you open your mind up to get away from it, well, yeah, I think if you open your mind up to get away from that environment, then you will change as a person, as an individual. I just think it's just certain individuals, don't get away from that mental environment, and they stay in it, and they feel that's where they at, and that's who they are.
Yeah.
But you have to realize that there's more on the outside. Like you look at LeBron James, he could have been that. He could have. I'm not sure exactly all the way of how he grew up in Cleveland, but I know it wasn't the best situation or whatever it's that. But he was a little bit more grounded and had a support system around him to where as though now he's looking at things in a total different light than anybody. Right now, he's at the point in his career where he's able to manipulate the league to do what he feels that he wants to do right now.
Nobody made a trade.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody
made a trade until LeBron decided where he was going. After that happened, the trade wild went wild. Everybody started trading.
And nobody said nothing when Melo decided.
I mean, think about it. Melo decided he was opting out first. Then LeBron, it was all about Melo. Once LeBron opted out, nobody talked about Melo anymore. It was about LeBron. Once LeBron decided, then it was like, okay, where Melo going? Then Melo decided to go. He was going. The whole free agency went crazy. To be able to be put in that position of power and to understand the power that you have and use it to your ability, not just to where as though you just dogging somebody out, but just to put yourself in a good situation to where as though you want to be in.
That's a great situation.
Smart, And just the way that he just runs his business, and his friends, it's not about his friends just eating off him. His friends are working. He got them working. He got them in business. They doing this and doing that, and it's a smart way of doing it. And I think that's the right way of doing it because if I was to get to that point and I had my friends with me, it's like I'm not just gonna carry you everywhere we go. Yeah, okay, I might be the big breadwinner, but at the same time, I'm going to want you to put in. I'm going to want you to do something. I'm going to want you to work. I'm going to want you to do something. Because if I'm constantly just paying for everything and you constantly just doing whatever you want to do or you eating or whatever, then after a while, my money going to run out.
Right.
Then what we have then? We don't have nothing. And I don't have anything. So now we lost out.
A lot of times too, man, even with like the young toddlers, man, like you say, they come home, you got the kid, you sitting the kid in the little whatever you sit them in and putting them right in front of the TV. You know what I'm saying? So the TV is raising your kid when you get home.
And that's the entertainment. That's the entertainment.
So it's like
occupying all your time.
They're not putting the time, and they're not putting the time in the child, the individual.
Dude.
Because they doing whatever they doing, and the child is pretty much losing out on their time, so they don't understand. But then when that child gets older, and the child doesn't have time for them, but that's when they start missing the child. And it's like, okay, I'm doing my thing, I'm doing my own thing, and it's like, dang, you ain't got time for your mom. You ain't got time for your dad. Well, like, you used to sit me in front of the TV.
Right.
And let me watch Andy Griffin.
That's so crazy.
Right.
But, you see that happen often too, man.
Too often.
But it's sad that it happens like that, and I think that's why kids, some of them end up the way they are today. Because we, as parents, don't take time out for our kids the way we need to take time out for them and do the necessary things that we need to do for them. And it's just it's a lost art, and it's an art that needs to be found again. And I think if they can be found again, I think if the family life or the home life, the good home life can be found again, then I think that a lot of these situations, a lot of these problems that we have today with these kids and these individuals that we have can be taken care of.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you, two brothers, for coming through and sharing this time, because we could have sat here
all night.
We could rap all night.
We just got started.
And
we ain't even touched on the gender roles playing into why maybe these children are left alone by themselves.
Oh yeah. We get ready.
You spend 8 hours at work. You come home, like you just said. You spend 4 hours with your kid. They go to sleep. You're back spending 8 hours with your coworkers and another 4 hours with your kid.
Exactly.
So, 16 to 8, you spending more than half of your time with other people besides your children.
That's right. But get ready for part 2.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Good show.
Get ready for part 2 of Friday Night Rap Sessions. And they will be back, because we got more things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole lot we haven't touched on tonight. It's a whole lot more to talk about, a whole lot more to discuss. We just touched on a few topics. I hope you enjoyed, what we talked about, things that we said. I hope we was able to teach somebody something or give them some information where they can learn, whether it was a kid, whether it was an adult or an organization or just anything. That's our job here on the Rap Sessions, just to talk about some real talk and some real issues and get things through to people so they can get an understanding of how we view things and how other people might view things. Everything that I might see, or he might see, and he might see, it might not be what everybody how they view it, but it's similar to how we view it. And we're just trying to view it in the right way, not in the wrong way, and just give a positive feedback. But if you want to catch up to me more for Friday Night Rap Sessions or on Talk to Me, you can reach me at talktome_me at Twitter. You can check my website out at www.talktome.tv.